Just make sure you're always communicating what's going on, and I think that makes the whole experience more harmonious, but it also raises your authority, and I think you'll actually land more deals. Hey, and welcome back to Builder Funnel TV. We are going to talk about lumber prices in this video, but more specifically, how do you communicate those prices to your customers? So my original title for this was actually going to be, how do you communicate rising lumber prices to your customers? And in the time we had slated this topic and said, yep, we want to dig into this and talk about it, lumber's gone, from like 600 a board fit to 1800. And then I think at the time of this recording is back down to about 600 from where it was maybe 15 months ago or 16 months ago. So with that being said, we don't really know what the future holds, and prices could go back up, they could kind of hold even, we'll see. But I think what we've seen is that it's really important to do a couple of different things with now knowing that prices could skyrocket really quickly and then come back down, and we don't want to get caught having to eat all those costs. So I think in terms of communication, two words come to mind, and that is communicate early and often. So before somebody signs on with you, let's have that conversation. Hey, remember what happened? We saw lumber go up 3x. That could happen again. I just want you to know that, hey, if that happens, we have a clause in our contract that, that's out of our control, and you are going to have to pay for the increased price in lumber. You're not going to have to pay us more labor to install or whatever it is, but the customer needs to pay for that cost. Otherwise, that's just going to erode your margins. So, I would have that conversation. Hey, right now, these are where things are at. But again, if they go up, and you can write your clause however you want it. You can say if it goes up more than X percentage, then that cost gets passed to you. Or if it goes up at all, maybe you just want to say, hey, whatever it is at the time we purchase it, we're gonna get your approval and do that. I'll leave the weeds to you. But I think the main takeaway for me is, hey, we need to be communicating this so that we don't get caught middle of a project, ordering something and going, oh my gosh, the price has doubled. This is going to kill our margin for the whole project. And now this project is just a nightmare. It's no fun. You're not happy. And then that may lead to an unhappy customer just because you're not excited about the project, and certain things start to go south from there. I think communicating early and often and just continuing that conversation around these types of prices, and it's not just lumber, it's other things too. So I think the price clause in the contract, and don't just squeeze it into the contract and kind of have it amidst everything. I would highlight it for the person. Hey, this is how we do things. This is what happens if it goes up, and this is, nothing will happen if it kind of stays generally where it is. And I think what that does really for you is it builds a lot of trust too. So if somebody's talking to a couple of other people, you're going to gain a lot more trust through that sales process. But you can also gain a lot of trust in the marketing process. I know got a builder out east, and he's been recording videos on lumber and should you wait or should you do a project now, and if you do, here's what you should expect. Those videos are doing really, really well. They're getting tons of views, tons of traction, but they're also building a ton of credibility, and it's separating him from other builders in the area because he's the one out there educating people on what's going on in the industry. You're in it, this information. It's top of mind for you. It's present. You're seeing it and feeling it every day. It's not so much that way for your customers. And so just by communicating things that you already know that are happening, suddenly the bar gets raised and your authority gets raised with that prospect, whether it's in the marketing process or in the sales process. And then I think one last thing here, which is nice if you can do it, is giving them an out somewhere along the way. And this may not always work, especially with remodeling, but I know with new construction, because the demand is so strong right now, I think in a lot of cases you can pick an out where it's like, hey, lumber's gone up, if you don't want to, if you want to opt out, here's where you can opt out, and then another buyer is going to step in. But even if it's on the custom home side or the remodeling side, if there's kind of a point in time where somebody can say, okay, we were going out along with this project and now I'm going to opt out. Again, you don't have to do that if that doesn't make sense for your business. Just make sure you have a strong clause in there around if the prices go up. But if you can, that's a nice customer happiness, customer delight thing where you can get somebody in out, even if they have to forfeit their deposit and they still owe a certain amount of the project, so that you haven't wasted a bunch of time and energy. You still getting compensated for your time and the work that you've done to that point. But somebody may just want to call it quits if that price is just going sky high like it did, basically tripling. So those are a few things to think about, but I think the key takeaways are just make sure you're always communicating what's going on. And I think that makes the whole experience more harmonious, but it also raises your authority, and I think you'll actually land more deals. All right, guys, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.